Hey friends, it's been a while. Let's have a chat, shall we? And it's not going to be a coffee chat because I don't have coffee right now. It's just going to be a water chat with my nice hydro flasky spooky themed water bottle. But yeah, it's been a little bit. I kind of took a little bit of a break in December. And so let's just talk about where I've been, what I've been doing, how the year is going. We're just going to chat like old friends, you and me, because we are. We are at this point. So yeah, so let's just get to chatting. First off, let's just talk about the fact that the camera quality is a lot better. If you follow my other channel, The Timely Teacherpreneur, then you already know this, or my other channel, Rainy Blue Reads. Yes, I have 3 channels, but that's neither here nor there. The camera quality is better because I finally got a Canon EOS M50. I got a vlogging camera and a microphone so that I can actually have better quality videos. Since I plan on continuing these YouTube channels in the future, I'm especially excited about this channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk at the end of the day. And I'm so thankful for each one of you that has been following along in my journey and like getting lesson plan ideas and telling me how helpful things have been that I've been sharing. I truly am creating all the content I'm creating in order to help other music teachers out there, which I didn't even introduce myself. So segue real quick. If you're new around here, I'm Rainey Barton. I'm an elementary music teacher and middle school musical theater teacher in Central Florida. I create videos every week to help music teachers better help their kids instill an appreciation of learning and music in the heart of every child. And we do that through lesson plans, strategies, tips, and tricks. And we typically do videos every Monday. This is obviously not Monday. I'm not going to even feel sorry. I'm just getting back into the swing of it. You know. If you're with me, you're vibing. But yeah, I keep saying, but yeah. Okay, let's talk about what happened in December. Nothing crazy happened in December. I just kind of took time off and I really started pouring it into my Rainy Blue Reads channel. So if you don't know, I created a new channel recently all about like my reads. And I've gotten back into reading as of October, and it's the best thing ever. I finished the year reading 32 books. 26 of those books I read in November and December. Yeah, I read a lot. My goal is 100 for this year, and I'm about to finish my 3rd book, and it's the 5th. Anyway, I really love reading. I love talking about it. It lights me up. It's a passion hobby, or a hobby, but a passion of mine. And so I created a channel for it. And so I spent December really just pouring into that, reading a lot, taking a break from here. I honestly haven't made a TPT product in 3 weeks, which kind of blows my mind. But I'm starting to see the fruits of my labors from last year. Like I've already made like a couple hundred for January, which I'm super excited about. Like if you want to hear about the TPT side of my life, you can go check out The Timely Teacherpreneur because that's where I talk about all this. But anyway, I kind of just took a break from everything except for like what really made me happy and like lit me up, and it's been the best thing ever. And so don't worry, by this Monday coming up, we're gonna start having regular videos again, and we're gonna start doing the what I'm teaching videos again. I took a break from those in November and December because I was really just prepping for the winter concert, especially in 3rd through 5th. That was all we were doing, and it was really boring, and I didn't have anything to share, and so I just didn't feel like the video was worth the value. But now that we're back in business, I'm welcome to share again what I've been doing. So starting next Wednesday, we will have those videos again. So we'll have 2 videos a week. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. But that's what happened in December. Like I said, I just took time for me. And I think that's really important for teachers, especially during this year where it's still kind of pandemic-y, and now we have the Omicron like COVID going around, and like people not having time to get their booster shots yet, and like all these things, like morale is really low. And so it's just been good to make sure to like pour into yourself, especially over this break, because my break was fantastic. I got to spend it with my son. My son is 2.5, almost 3, and he is just so fun. He's talking so much more now, doing a lot more. We have been in the throes of potty training, not been the best. We will survive, but he has to be potty trained by the time he's 3, because then he starts preschool shortly after, and they won't take him in the 3-year-old room unless he's potty trained. So, fun times there. Send me all the tips your way. But yeah, it was really, really great. I'm really, really glad. But yeah, let's talk about game plan for this channel and how my year is going, because I'm at a brand new school, and I told you all that I was really excited about coming, but I haven't told you how it's been going since I got here. So let's chat about it. Well, as far as I said, like this channel, we're still going to stick to Mondays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays is for what I'm teaching in my music room, and then Mondays is just the topic of the week. I cannot remember what next week is. I know we have some Black History Month stuff coming up soon, stuff like that. I might talk about like my Martin Luther King history video. Oh, I'm going to start doing shorts on Fridays, I think, and the YouTube shorts will be showing a product that I use in my classroom with my students, so maybe that'll be helpful to you. But yeah, that's the game plan for this channel. Everything's back, busy, ready for action. I already have all my game plan for January through March's content, so get ready to rock and roll. That's me cheersing the water bottle to the camera. You probably didn't care, but it's okay. This is Rainy with a mid-video location change. Why? Because so I always record my videos either before school hours or after school hours. Today happened to be after school hours, and the new band director came in after school to organize his closet, which happens to be in my room. And so that would have been really awkward to like film this with him here. Especially because he's the headmaster's father-in-law. Not that I was going to say anything bad about the headmaster, because I absolutely love my school. But, you know, just like, anyway, location change. So let's pick it back up where we left off. So, I was talking about this school year in general and how it's been going for me. So, for the last 6 years, I was teaching at a public elementary school in Central Florida. That was the first job that I got out of college. And I stayed there for 6 years, and it was a bottom 300 school, which means that it was one of the lowest 300 elementary schools in all of the entire state of Florida. And that also brought with it like the fact that it was always like a D or an F school. One time it was a C school, and then we didn't have to have an extra hour. If you're a D or an F school, you have to have an extra hour of school. So I was always in school until 4, whereas all my friends got off by like 2:30 or 3, and I was always very jealous. And with that caused a lot of issues. We had low socioeconomic status of most kids, and like it was just like really, really hard. And I grew a lot there as a teacher. I definitely learned how to not be this tiny little like, oh, hi guys, like, because I come off very nice and friendly when you meet me in person, and sometimes shy. And so I thought I was going to be eaten alive. They definitely tried me in that first year at that school. I wanted to cry every single day. And then it got a lot better. And then COVID happened, and it spiraled right back down. Like, actually, no, right before COVID. So it was going pretty well. And then I got to about year 4, and I don't know what happened. I had a really hard 5th grade year again. And, like, it was just a bad, like, atmosphere all around. A lot of the kids were being much more vocal about not wanting to be in music class, like, and reminding me that, they didn't have a choice to be there, just being kind of awful. And then there was one point where this one 5th grade kid that, like, I always was calling his mom every day I had him just because of how awful he was to me. He found, like, my personal YouTube channel that I had of videos of me singing in college and was making fun of me and then getting the class to make fun of me. And I had to private all of those. Like, they're still privated because I'm just, like, I was so traumatically, like, horrified. And it was really embarrassing. And that was about actually a week before COVID hit. And I actually cried when COVID happened and they said school was canceled for the rest of the year. I cried tears of joy because I was so excited I didn't have to go back. That's how much I hated it. If I'm being honest. And I was not excited that people were dying from COVID and all of that, but also, like, COVID was a beautiful thing for me and my family because my son had just turned a year old. Actually, no, he was about to turn a year old. I got to watch him take his first steps. I got to witness him doing his first word. I got to witness so many milestones that had I been working, I wouldn't have made and I would have missed. And I got to spend so much time with my son. This was like a blessing in disguise for my family. And the fact that both of my family, my husband and I, both got to keep our jobs because his job was working at Office Depot, and Office Depot was considered important during COVID because of, like, laptop necessity and technology and all these things. So he never lost his job. I never lost my job because I was paid throughout the entire thing. It was just really, God really did bless us in that moment. And I'm telling you about this part because I really needed to paint the picture for you of, like, how much I hated being a teacher. Like, I was ready to, like, up and quit, and it was hard because, like, music teachers, you know how hard it is. Like, music teacher jobs don't just open all the time, like, in your county or, like, anywhere near where you live. So, like, I wouldn't have had an opportunity to, like, do anything else, you know? So it was like, if I'm gonna quit, like, I have to know, like, I have to really, really be, like, hating things. And so then COVID happened. And then the year after COVID, when it was still kind of half COVID and we were half in person, half not, that was, like, better, but not really. It was still pretty rough. And so by that point, I was like, I can't be here anymore. I gotta find something else. And so that's when I happened to go check out, I had heard about this program. I had heard about this school that my pastor's kids went to and a bunch of other kids went to, and it was a private Christian school. And I was like, okay, I would love for my son to go there, so I figured I'd go check out the preschool and see how much it cost. And so I went and I toured it. And the preschool teacher just happened to mention that, like, the music teacher was retiring and that I should, like, message them. And so I messaged the principal, and she immediately messaged me back, and they had an interview with me by like the next week. And then like the wheels just started going in motion, and everything worked out, and I was hired within like 2.5, 3 weeks. And it was just the best thing ever. And I'm still so very happy about that. But I feel like I can't even begin to imagine now in January, like how much the Lord blessed me in this transition. Like, let's talk about the transition. So I went into my classroom, and I thought for sure that, like, I was going to have issues. I mean, every time you start a new school, it's like starting over again. Like, oh, you got to get through like that tough year of like kids trying your life and all these things. And I was prepared for it. I knew it wasn't going to be to the level of what I experienced my first year in my public school, because that was bad. If we're being honest, that was bad. And I never experienced that. I don't know if it's because these kids are paying or parents are paying buttloads of money to send their kids to these school. Like, when I tell you, like, it's not a pretty penny, or it's a pretty penny, it's a pretty penny. When they're paying a lot to send their kids to this school, their kids are just held to a different standard. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, now you work with like spoiled rich kids. I do have spoiled rich kids, but I also have kids that are just genuinely wholesome, amazing people. And like, it's not like I look down upon what school I was at. I am so happy that I was there for that season I was in, but also I am just very happy to not be in a situation where kids throw things on the ground and say, fetch, biatch. That's a real thing. Or another time where a kid threw his shoes at me and said, I hate you. Or another time when a kindergartner bites your leg. You just don't need that all the time in your life, and I'm really glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. Like, the worst thing I've had to deal with this year is a kid just telling me no. That's literally it. Telling me no. Okay, great. I can handle that. So anyway, it's been great. I haven't really had, outside of my middle schoolers, because I do teach middle school musical theater now, but I co-teach it with my Bible study leader. And that class, the 8th grade class, is just hard as a whole. I love them to pieces, but Lord bless, they are my trying times. Outside of that, I have really great kids. Like, I don't have that many poorly behaved kids, and like, they mostly know by now that like, we're gonna have a great time in music class if they just listen to me and we can vibe and play instruments and things. I will also say, the music teacher before me was vastly different than I was, like very like stern. They did things a certain way. They didn't do any of the stuff like play with the parachute and do all these folk songs and stuff. Like, that was not her jam. Like, she had her own thing and they loved her for it and things, but I was bringing a lot of stuff to them that they had never done before, and at first they were all not about it. Like, they were like, puppets, dancing, what is this? Now they like expect it and they love it, but that was a huge shift from me to them, because that teacher had been there for like 20 years before that. That never ever became a problem. They actually really love me. All the parents have really loved me. The kids have been really open to receiving to me. It's just been great. So yeah, I've had an amazing experience with my kids. And they know so much more than my kids at my other school did. Like, I got in there and like, I thought I was going to have to start from scratch, and like, no sir. They don't know solfege, but they know a lot of their rhythms. And it's just been a blast getting to make music with them, and just things are so significantly different at this school. Like, you don't clock in or out. You can go, like, get food off campus if you have free time and you're not working, like, in your classroom. Like, I mean, we pray at the beginning of meetings. Obviously, we're a private Christian school. I just love it. Like, it's just, the Lord always reminds me every day of how much he saved me out of the other one. Because I had lunch with my art teacher the other day, and she told me that now they're having to teach PE once a week because the PE teacher and the PE aide or tech quit last year, and they only replaced the PE teacher. And so in order to not give him too many kids, they made music and art teachers have to teach PE once a week. And that was going to be it. No, fam. I would have quit so hard in a flash. I was going to cry. I was crying for my art teacher because I love her to pieces and she had to deal with that. So just between that and just everything that the Lord has done, just like, is infinitely better. Like, I'm appreciated at this school. I almost want to cry when I think about it sometimes because of how much I hated my old job. I'm appreciated at the school. They love me. They tell me repeatedly that I'm doing an amazing job. Like, apparently they thought that my winter concert was like the best thing ever, and that I just really know what I'm doing, and that the kids really love me, and they're so generous. Like, I got like 20 presents from like students and cards and like just, I just think about it and it's just, when you're at a really great school where like you're appreciated, like things just go so much better. And I'm just so happy that I got here. And my son's going to go to preschool here next year. So I'm not going to have to travel across to mother in law anymore, even though I love her. And she's the best thing that we had ever for Lincoln, that she volunteered to like be his daycare person for us. But I'm also excited that he'll just get to be here with me. This is literally the biggest blessing that I've ever had to my family. And I mean, especially because I was going to get a major pay dip coming here. And then Jesus just moved some things around and I ended up getting the exact same pay that I did. And that's a big deal because private schools don't pay as much. So I'm loving it. I'm so excited for this next semester. There's never a day where I go into work and I hate it. Well, Tuesdays I'm not excited, but that's only because I have 8 classes. Would you be excited if you had 8 classes in a day? Probably not. So that's the only day that I'm just like, but like, I'm always excited. I love seeing my kids. I have some great ones. I mean, they're all great. But yeah, I'm really happy. And so I wanted to give you this update so you could hear how I'm doing. But don't you worry, our regularly scheduled content will be back starting next Monday. I don't remember what video I said was coming next week. I think it's like favorite movement activities or something fun. So just get ready for that. It might be Martin Luther King activities. I don't know. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out for this coffee chat. Bye!